Hello everyone, Blue Star Saber here once again to do another One Piece chapter review. Chapter 1174, The Strongest Thing in the World. This chapter is a follow-up on the last chapter in which after declares warrior against the world government, Zoro ends up outmaneuvering the Dummy Reverse Giants by jumping atop of them and slicing them and getting Dory and Broggy to attack each other. Meanwhile, the group that's trying to rescue the children encounter one of the nightmare monsters, which is a version of Nika. They manage to take it down, and then finally the new giant warrior pirates of Rodo, Gerd, and Goldberg combine their attacks to knock it out, where Summers bats it away, but ends up using it to accidentally crash the ship that they were going to use to take the children with. And as a result, Summers has got oh no, I am screwed face, because he has just basically accidentally ruined the plan of kidnapping children to force the giants to submit to the world government, if you will, or become the world noble slaves. What is the fallout of this chapter? How will Summers handle the situation? We're about to find out. But before we begin, we've got a cover story of The Strongest Things of the World, which is reader request Roger going on a walk with a Tyrannosaurus he tamed like a puppy by Tokamon. We see Roger doing his time as a pirate king. On his adventures, giving us meat to a Tyrannosaurus Rex. Arguably it's an uncanon thing, but since we know that the Roger pirates did apparently go and see Dory and Broggy in Little Garden, you can't help but wonder if this might have actually happened. I think some people compared this to Roger being Drake, though I think Drake isn't really a Tyrannosaurus Rex. But nevertheless, it's a nice little panel there. You wonder if the Tyrannosaurus would try to eat his arm, but nope, it's just sticking with the steak meats, because I'm pretty certain if it did, Roger would kick its butt. So, yeah. Anyway, with that said and done, on to the actual chapter itself. So, yeah. And the chapter begins off with Soma's cursing that stupid sleep Tid, which I think it's supposed to be some sort of short thing for nightmare monster or something. I probably need to look into it a bit more, but yeah. But Summers complained that he lost the ship and the sea clouds, and he's worried because the arrow's still active, and we end up seeing he's on top of a vine, which seems to have come to life with a mouth, if you will. Which that seems to be quite an achievement with his power, from what I can tell, or at least more added details for his power we didn't know. And realizes that kids are going to fall right off the edge and splat on the mountain below. He tries to get Gunko to stop the kids and need to pause the operation, but realizes that since Emu is possessing Gunko, that's not going to work. Now I'm wondering how he could undo the arrows. We see a bunch of the parents and family, loved ones, if you will, the kids, trying to damage it, but they can't even make a scratch, with their kids pleading. And with Summers telling them that it's pointless, and that if you could stop it, I would have done. If I could have stopped it, I would have done so already. But as he's doing this, he starts to think. The parents are upright at an arm's length and unable to help the kids due to the thorns, and they're going to be forced to watch their children plummet to this death. As a result, you get Summers, if you will, having a very creepy smile, as you see here with the tongue out. I had unfortunate to cut that part out because I didn't want to get any of the dialogue in, but Summers is going now that's a deliciously depraved way to die. So Summers is in his twisted sense of enjoying watching loved ones suffer. Actually, now is starting to enjoy the idea of these kids seeing their fate, if you will, and decides that thinking that's worth it. And if anyone's at fault, it could be the Great One who's controlling Gunko, which I feel like doing that sort of blame is going to come back and bite him in the dust, because I'm pretty certain Emu does not. Because Emu does not excuse failures, and I doubt he would tolerate those who blame him for the problem. But he says out loud that they could always get more kids, and then starts getting excited again, saying they call of their names and screaming their family loved ones to heaven, saying that this is the real stuff of emotion, or probably love, depending on the translation. And he ends up announcing to the kids, and let's see, and the PTA members, as the translation says, though it could have just been parents and loved ones, but yeah. But Yinsa said, okay, I was planning to take your hostage and move safely to Holy Land, but due to an unforeseen accident, you're going to go down to your deaths. And let's see, with the cloud gone. And let's see, so let's see, you reach your goal and you face basically a tragic conclusion since an accident that destroyed the ship and the sea clouds. With that starts getting the kids panicking because they're about to fall off. You've got Omi trying his best to let's see, prevent the kids from being harmed, trying to hold his grandson, saying he's not going to let harm no matter how much it hurts. The kid cries out, his grandfather, as Britzy Summers goes on. I'm afraid there's nothing you can do with killing him, going like, what does Summers think he's doing? Thinking how it took forever to get those kids to the port. So clearly killing him is not happy about the situation with the kids and the hostages. And I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up reporting this to Emu, if you ask me. I think that is basically he's going to be the one to report this to Emu, and Emu's going to punish Summers. And maybe not yet straight away, because I'm pretty certain Summers needs to fight Sanji. So, yeah. But Omi is unable to do it, and he eventually has to let go, as his grandson pleads him to stop it. As he, Omi apologizes to kids, and as he thinks, that says that as long as that owl doesn't disappear, there's no way to stop the children for sure. Since they can't really say if one of them, I think Ripley says, so we can't save them anymore. And as they talk about how they can only just watch their kids plummet down helplessly and fall into the underworld where they'll never be able to find their bodies. Let's see, cursing, let's see, the God's Knights. As some of the kids start to think that Heaven is punishing them for doing bad things. Let's see, which is confusing them. And let's see, the kids saying, oh, I guess that's what they said when I'm getting scolded too. And they said, me too, I wish I'd been a good boy. So the kids start thinking we're going to die because they were naughty. As they start saying, no, I don't want to die. I'll be a good girl, I swear. Help us, spare our lives, I'm sorry. All that stuff. Summers is just basically enjoying it. So let's see, with I believe what's his name? I think Colin. Yeah, I think it's Colin. Yeah, the Colin of the let's see, Colin is the I believe Ripley's and Gabon's kid. Let's see. So yeah, it's Colin. Let's see, I probably should have more confidence in myself, but yeah, Colin is doing that, and we end up getting a flashback of Colin where his mum's scolding him, saying that, remember, when you're a bad boy, the sun god is watching. But Colin doesn't care, since he appears, says he won it in a duel, so it's mine, and he's holding a sort of toy figure or a tall doll of Emmett the giant robot from, like, arguably then though from the Mule, which you get Ren Ripley angry, pulling his ear, saying, you're strong, you should be gentler to the weaker. And then you got, I think, Jowl's, I believe Jowl's great granddaughter. I completely do not know the name of. I can Yalva. Let's see, crying and thinking of her mum, saying, "Why did you leave so much on your plate?" And says, "Do you hate my cooking that much?" But he goes like, "But carrots." Another one, I think this one's name is Skidder, where he's being punished by his mother for taking his father's sword. And then you've got like I believe it is Over, that's saying he hates his grandfather for being a barbaric pirate. And you've got, let's see, this one called Carrion, who has like an Usopp nose, if you will, saying, "Why did you lie to me again?" Saying, "How can you keep you safe if you won't be truthful with me?" And then you've got like, let's see, a parent that's saying, "Why did you bring kids?" I believe this one is called Mag, saying, "Why did you bring that to school?" I forgot my homework on purpose because I didn't do it, or because he was trying to be a bad boy or something. I think, depending on the translation. And then, as a result, you get more of the kids crying. Colin says, "I don't want to die, mommy." And this is where Ripley comes in front of Colin, hugs him despite all the pain he's enduring, saying, "Come here, baby." As Colin says, "I'm sorry," and let's see, Ripley saying, "I wasn't able to stop you, but." Let's see, but Colin tries to beg his mother as they're about to fall off the cliff, saying that you're going to die, but she's saying, "I don't care," as she won't let them die alone. And she starts to fall due to the effect of the arrows. The other kids getting, let's see, picked by their mothers or grandpa in the case of, let's see, over with, let's see, given the fact that it's Omi. You've got Summers crying tears of laughter, and you've got, like, arguably probably most people's favorite, Ranji, who was like saying, "Just kill me if it's like for the better of everyone's future." With her saying, "Don't worry, everyone. I'm sure we'll turn out just fine." Let's see, saying, "Right, everyone, we'll survive, right?" And then you get her father grabbing her, and him saying, "I heard you said earlier," and saying, "You were so brave," and she cries, "Father." You get, I believe Bent, the one who imagined how scary his mom is. Her mother comes and saves her, with them saying, "What's the very scariest thing in the world?" And he says, "My mama." And he goes like, "I'm sorry I said you were scary," with the mother being fine with it, saying, "That's fine, darling. Mama needs to be scary to keep you safe." And arguably, she probably is scary because she ended up scaring her own husband when he had to deal with the monster version of her. Let's see. And then we've got like the one with like the sort of ancient giant horns. I believe her name is Johan, saying they're also lucky they have parents to hug them. I assume that her parents were probably guards that got killed by emu possessed Howd's rampage, if you will. And then we get Angie, the vice print, Saul's assistant teacher, saying that I can be like a mother to you, but she says, "But you're not my mother." And she grabs her, Johan, as she screams, "Miss Angie." And arguably, with this, Angie has probably beaten all the allegations that are drawn to her of being a spy, as many people from Elbar thought that, okay, one of these characters is going to be a spy. So, but turns out, no, it's not like that, but yeah. Anyway, you then got Rhodes' brother, if you will. And I believe his name, of course, the cowardly one. Let's see, what is his name? Let's see, Borgen, thinking like, thinking about how he says he doesn't want his brother to shop school, as he's embarrassed to have a nerd for a brother, or an otaku, if you're like going to Japanese translations, I think. With Rhodes saying, "I'll try my best to hide my nature," thinking that this is probably heavenly punishment. As Rhodes goes like, "Ultra Borgen, it doesn't hurt." He grabs and arguably, let's see, maybe now Rhodes has somewhat redeemed himself, as Borgen, cries, "Big brother." And Summers is to continue to laughing as they all fall into their deaths and saying like, they look like scabs of garbage piling down to hell, thinking it makes his heart tremble, and talking about the saga of emotions, if you will. And it could have just been 10 brats, but no, the families had to get involved. Calling all the parents and other members of the family stupid mothers and fathers, etc. Martyrs for love. I think he's got a stitch in his side, and he is just really enjoying it. But as they fall, they land on something that seems to be like a white, circle thing on top of this black mass. And they're all confused, and they go like, "Huh?" As she ends up, Ripley asks Colin, "Where are they?" With Colin saying, "I don't know, but everyone's alive." And as you're seeing people talking to each other, then you realize that the thing they landed on is Luffy's move called Gum Gum Tacky Tummy Cracker. "Now you're poking me, so get off already." And they realize, okay, it's Luffy. And then you see that the black thing is actually Loki in a devil fruit form, as he says, "Listen up. Once we're up there, I need you off my back at once. It'll prevent me from fighting." As they realize, wait, you're on the back. And Luffy is in his Sun God Nika form and saying, "They just started falling out of nowhere. Good thing we were passing by." As Loki says, "That's not a good thing. I'm a destroyer. I won't guarantee that anyone survives. Now here goes." Let's see. And Summers starts to notice that snow is going on and realize that thunder's coming about. And it's starting to attack Killingham's monsters, if you will, as they're going like, hey, what's that? The whole tree is rippling, which is arguably probably due to Luffy's gum ability, if you will, or Nika ability. And let's see, the giants start hearing the rhythm and realize Elbaf is shaking, as Jar realizes, saying, on an exceedingly rare day when lightning and stone combine, a vast beast will blanket the sky with its presence and the sound of the drums of liberation. As Somers is now shocked by what's about to power out, and we see a glimpse of the Emu Gunko looking on, doing a sort of, cold stare expression, whether it's fear or anger, I do not know. And then we get this awesome, full-on page, double spread, if you will, of Luffy and the Munja the Hammer squirrel form riding on the top of Loki, revealing that his devil fruit is a gigantic dragon, as it is striking down all these like imagination monsters, tearing them apart. As Zhao is saying that the drums of liberation, the Sun God, will appear, as Luffy's just laughing. And as Luffy says, I just can't get over how huge you are, ending the chapter. Oh boy, now this is a chapter. This is a chapter which, oh boy. First off, it's got all the sort of things you expect in emotion in a One Piece chapter. Emotional, sad moments, the sadistic villains, and an epic hype moment cliffhanger. What more could you ask for a One Piece chapter? I do like how Somers is just going through all the emotions of like just realizing, oh crud, I'm screwed. Okay, we gotta stop the operation. We gotta stop it. Okay, I gotta contact Gunko. Oh crud, no, that's not gonna work. Gunko is being possessed by Emu. Doing all the panic thing because like basically the means of like transporting the hostages is gone, and as a result of that, they're gonna fall to their deaths. But let's see, Somers being the sadistic bastard that he is, and his like version of love, if you will, like seeing loved ones die before, seeing people's loved ones die before their eyes. He gets a really good, I suppose you get say thrill out of that. And as a result, I've seen a few people who say that Somers would definitely be on, let's just say, a certain allegations of listing, if you will, but let's see whether or not that is true or not. But nevertheless, let's see. Somers, being a cruel, sadistic world noble, is going to enjoy seeing everyone plummet to their deaths, and arguably he has the arrogant audacity to think, okay, Emu's technically to be blamed for this, and even if you could say yes, Emu at the moment is possessing Gunko, that as a result, Gunko is not unable to. Emu is not able to possess Emu is not Gunko's not able to stop the hours with Emu possessing her, though at the moment Emu and Gunko's body is currently occupied by taking on Brook, if you will. Granted, I suppose I forgot to put that in the summary. Brook also finally encounters Gunko Emu and ends up revealing that he knew Gunko as Princess Shuri, who apparently allegedly killed her own father, a man he's indebted to. And this snaps out Gunko for a bit, which as a result, Emu takes control again and starts targeting Brook because he's wondering, like, what do you mean to Gunko and all that stuff? And they start fighting, if you will. But as a result, as you can see, that's keeping them Emu occupied at the very least. But yeah, but Somers is trying to blame Emu, and I think, like I said earlier, yeah, that's not going to fly. I'm pretty certain just after this chapter, after these last few chapters, Somers is not surviving the arc. I am pretty certain, guarantee that he is going to get the Saint Saturn treatment. And not only a Saint Saturn treatment, but he's probably going to get Emu even more mad because, Somers would probably have the audacity to even say that you're partly to blame for this, because there's no way Emu is going to take any responsibility for the failures here. He is no doubt going to blame the Gods Knights here, particularly Somers and even Gunko for assisting his possession, if you will. Now, granted, the only one I'm curious about is Killingham, because at the moment he's not doing anything incompetent, but clearly he's probably going to be taken out just because like his devil fruit army thing is just too broken for anyone that is not really Loki at the moment, it seems. And it's like he probably can't really have like this army because they're going to have like other armed forces for the final war, I think. So, but yeah. Now, granted, I assume that let's see, Killingham is probably going to be dealt with like Usopp or something. But yeah, and Samus probably won't be taken out permanently until after probably say an encounter against Sanji. So yeah, I think this is what we're going to see in the arc basically. But who knows? But yeah, I do like that he's realizing that Götze Somas it's not following the plan, if you will. And I'm pretty certain that he's probably going to report this to Emu in one way or another, but who knows? But at the moment, let's see, Killingham arguably is the most competent of the God's Knights here, besides maybe Emu possessing Gunko, but let's see, that I doubt he'll be saved in the end, but yeah. But anyway, one thing I do like is sort of the emotion of you're seeing with like the kids and their parental figures. And let's see. And while you don't get flashbacks to all of the kids, I do like how some of the first ones you get, each of them are to some extent, let's see, mirroring like some of the early Straw Hats. Usopp obviously lying with one. Luffy being brash warrior of like not respecting cowards, I guess, and not realizing that you shouldn't all that with I think Colin. One refusing to eat, that might be Sanji a bit. Nami's obviously not accepting the foster parent, if you will. One trying to be a bit more like Frankie, I guess. Trying to be like a bad boy and all that stuff, but not really. Let's see what else. One trying to keep secrets and all that. Wait, that might be one I've already said. So the swords. One was Sanji. I think that one might be not valuing food. Arguably, these kids are sort of mirroring the Straw Hats in their childhood, the moments they're being bad. I do like how you see kids. These are kids. These are kids that are basically. They do think they've done something wrong, and they're thinking they're going to die as a result. So they're thinking all the times they've been bad and saying, "I won't do that anymore." Even got like one that's Rhodes' kid brother being embarrassed, but it's like I'm sorry for that even too. Which, to be fair, I'm not necessarily blaming, given some of Rhoda's more worse traits. Of being a nerd / a toku, but who knows? Perhaps maybe Rhodes might change his ways a little bit. But who knows? We have to wait and see. But yeah, I do like how Oda's showing all these different types of parental love. A parent's got a son and mother, not trying to scold this kid to behave better. One that won't eat their food and all that stuff. One that's afraid of their mom, but the mom's like, it's okay. Moms have to be scary sometimes. All those sort of emotions. All the kids. Like that. Honestly, I probably would have been honestly, if I was probably a kid, I'd probably be like, if I'm about to die, I probably would apologize to my mom for the stuff I've been bad at. But who knows? But yeah, you don't want your last moment and thinking that the last things you've done with your parents is that you end up saying bad stuff to them or done bad stuff in front of them. But yeah, but I do like how basically mirroring a lot of the Straw Hats, but it seems that Oda, instead of losing their mother figures, because most One Piece characters lose their mother figures, and nearly every One Piece character, remember the Straw Hats, have lost one parental figure. Let's see, with one of few exceptions, I think, is Dr. Kurenai for the mothers, but she's Chopper's adopted mother, so, but yeah. But basically, let's see, these lot, even though they probably parallel the Straw Hats a bit and some of their antics, they are at the very least seem like they're going to be lucky enough to keep their mothers or parental figures at the very least. So yeah, I even like how Ron just thinking that they'll be saved, but let's see, and the father just comments about Bravia and all that stuff. So yeah, I like in particular how Omi's grandson initially hates him because he was a pirate, but is apologizing because arguably they would only have a more recent relationship because Omi came back pre-time skip recently. But it's No, let's see. Despite this, Omi's doing his best to try and save. Let's see. Save his grandson. I wouldn't be surprised that after this chapter, Omi becomes the favorite between Omi and Kashi. We're going to see amongst those two giant duos as a result, because he gets this nice little moment. I do like how Ripley is like, even though her son's going to die, she doesn't get see. Even though she could get out of the way, she's going to make sure her son dies alone at the very least. So it's a type of even more, it's a strong sacrificial love. It's saying like, okay, if you die, we die together, kind of thing, rather like self-sacrifice. But so yeah, that's kind of touching in itself, because there's no way to save your kid, at least at this moment. So yeah, arguably all the emotions that good, and I don't see. Anyway, back to the sort of devil fruit things. I like how Luffy's able to stretch so much. He's able to have a bunch of giants bounce on him in his Gear 5 ability. The only thing I'm a little disappointed about is that he's not in his Viking Gear 5th form, though I'm wondering if that might be an error on Oda's part, because I think when initial Stritzy releases of this page came out, people wondered is that photoshopped or edited? But who knows? It might be. Maybe Oda will edit it or change it as the chapters go on. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, I do like the sort of belly. Let's see technique Luffy has done. Hold on, let me just see what the Fizz translation calls it. Let's see, hold on. Gum Gum. Let's see, Gum Gum Tummy Cracker. Yeah, I like that move and all that stuff, but yeah. So I thought that was fun, and but the main highlight of this chapter was, of course, Loki's Devil Fruit. I mean, this is just epic. I mean, yeah, it's a little goofy. Yeah, I think there's some people that complain that the dragon looks a little goofy, but let's see, this is One Piece. You're going to get a little goofy with the badassery, but but we get a full black dragon that looks more like what you see in Western mythology and then Eastern compared to Kaido, and you can tell just how big it is by just how Luffy in his giant form is like barely even it's like the horns are even taller than him and all that stuff, and it's like, this is epic. So yeah, this is extremely really epic and all that stuff, and you can tell just how massive Loki is, and he's even bigger than all these nightmare monsters, which he is at the moment stomping, which I am curious about what's going to happen. And they permanently stomp, because then this is many of the enemies gone. So it's like, who are all the other side characters and minor characters fight, where the Straw Hats have their main fights and all that stuff. But I assume that more are going to be produced and all that stuff, and they probably regenerate at some point. But I have to wait and see. As I do think, as long as killing him is conscious, they're not going to go away. So I am wondering if they're going to try and knock him out at the very least. But yeah, but Loki's it's got a full dragon. Some people might be tired of dragons, but heck, I think Oda has managed to get it more to make this one interesting, because this dragon basically looks like that mural in the double page spread a couple of chapters back. I think it was 1138, where you got that double page spread. You could identify nearly everything on that wall except for this dragon. And seemingly was fighting a giant snake, which many people think is the Red Line. And now, as a result, we now finally probably got an idea what Loki is going to do, because people are wondering, is Loki going to get his devil fruit stolen by Blackbeard? Is Loki going to fight this character? Is he going to fight Emu? Is he going to fight, Shamrock? I don't know. Is he going to be taken out by one of certain characters? Because many people wondering back when Loki was, people thought he was a villain. It's all these sort of guesses, but now, thanks to the mural, thanks to this dragon revelation, we know that Loki is probably no doubt going to fight the Red Line in its giant serpent form. I believe the giant snake Joromander in Norse mythology, because basically, I think Mr. Morge says, Loki is basically One Piece version of Thor with the hammer. And now with this dragon ability, you got one giant monster versus another. This being the forest god, probably most likely, that guards the Tree of Elbaf to fight the earth god, the giant serpent. So yeah, it's all coming sort of together. We've now got this key thing. So yeah, we now basically got what people think are going to be likely the matchups in like the final war, if you will. Let's see, as Luffy is dealing with Emu, Loki is dealing with a giant serpent. So yeah, I do like how Luffy just absolutely loves like Loki, how big Loki is. I do like how Giles says that this, according to the High Prophecy, on the day of snow and lightning, let's see, the sun god will appear on a giant monster and all that stuff. So yeah, arguably the prophecy of the third age ending is arguably beginning, because like Elbaf is the beginning of the final war, basically. So yeah, I do like that. Granted, I'm curious to see about Emu Gunko, because we saw Summer's panic face and realized the giant dragon and the kids are being saved, probably. Kids being saved. Let's see, you've got like you've got basically now Emu seeing the sun god and a giant dragon here. You're wondering, is he feeling fear, any emotions, fear or rage? Who knows? But at the very least, I'm pretty certain we're going to get Loki and Luffy fighting Emu very soon. So yeah, overall, this chapter is a very good chapter. I'd probably give it a 9 to 10 out of 10, really. Let's see, Soma's going for all the emotions, panicking and all that stuff, and then going like his sadistic, let's see, self of like seeing like the family suffer, falling to their deaths. Let's see, seeing like the kids, let's see, living through their emotions of thinking like all the bad stuff they're doing, they're going to be punished for it. Sort of mirroring some of the Straw Hat's own sort of traits, and seeing all the parents come to protect them, or even like grandparents or brothers or parental figures. Let's see, with Ange, let's see, everyone thought she was going to be a spy, but nope, it turns out it looks like Oda's not doing like the spy thing like he's done for the last couple of arcs, if you will. Instead, nope, she is just like, let's see, she was running to save this one student who did not have a parental figure in her life. So, yeah, it looks like there's no spy for Elbaf, but I think it makes sense, because Elbaf is a bit more of a more tighter, simpler arc compared to some of the more other grand scale arcs. Oh, yeah, granted, arguably with this dragon form, it's gotten big scaled again, but still. But I don't think the story's a bit more simple plotting, I guess, if you will. So I don't think you're going to have any traitors, basically, in Elbaf, or at least on the good guy's side. I mean, Gunko may end up betraying Emu via Brook. So yeah. Let's see, Rude having a bit of redemption, if you will, of finally showing just, let's see, how much a decent brother he is. No, I don't think some people still forgive him how he tried to collect Nami earlier, but we'll have to wait and see in that regards. But yeah, Omi being like a dedicated grandpa, and let's see, Ripley willing to die with her son. All those sort of like emotional moments you have, some of the other kids as well. Oda's doing really good here with that. Luffy and Loki saving them. Let's see, Loki's dragon form, and let's see the bit of the high text of the sun god appearing. The only thing I'm really questioning about is Loki's dragon form able to do the snow and thunder, and does the hammer have any of that abilities, or just do they get like sort of or does the hammer have any of those abilities themselves, or does it just enhance those abilities that Loki has? I'm really curious to how the Squirrel will play more in like Loki's fighting, if you will. And I'm wondering what's happening to Brook now, since we got like that one stare of like the Emu Gunko thing. So yeah, overall a 9 to 10 out of 10 chapter. I enjoyed it. I am hyped. I'm ready to see some of the matchups that are about to happen. Arguably, I assume that Sanji versus Somers will begin soon. Maybe Usopp versus Killingham. And let's see, we have to see whether Sora's still fighting Dory and Broggy. And also, I guess, see if Usopp will get to take on Killingham. But for now, I'm enjoying this chapter. I'm looking forward to the next one. But for now, I'm Blue Star Saber signing off. Thank you, everyone, for listening to the stream. I hope you enjoyed what I had to say. But I need to leave now, so goodbye for now, everyone. See you again next time, which will be this weekend, likely, hopefully. Let's see if I have time. But yeah, bye for now.